Everyone gives beginner creators the same advice. Just be confident on camera, just be yourself, so you try. But the second you press record, someone else show up. Stiffer, more careful, reading every word like it's a test. That was actually me in one of my first videos. I could barely look at the lens. But here's what confused me. I can film outside with strangers walking past and feel completely fine. But if you put me in a group Zoom call, I just freeze. And that difference taught me something very important. You may not actually be scared of camera. You may be switching into performance mode. And that's why you suddenly stop sounding like yourself. And I'll show you the process I use to lower that pressure. Notes without sounding robotic, a warm-up that actually works, an exact moment my delivery changes during a real filming session. So you'll actually see it on a screen. For the longest time, I thought something was wrong with me. I can take my camera outside, people walk past, and some of them staring, and I'm okay in that moment. But I still remember sitting in a group Zoom call, waiting for my turn to speak, and my heart was pounding like I was about to walk on stage. But if you have one-on-one, it's just a completely different story. When I talk to one person, I feel feedback right away. I see their face, I hear their reaction, and my brain relaxes at that moment. But a group feels like a performance, like everyone needs to be happy with how I say every single sentence. And here's what I actually noticed. The camera creates the same pressure, even so nobody is standing in front of you. So you're looking in a silent lens, but in your head you may be talking to 50 people, 500 people, and every critical person who could ever find this video. And that imaginary audience, they just changes your breathing, your posture, and even the words you choose. And you concentrate so hard on sounding good that you actually stop sounding like you. And one small thing that actually helped me on those Zoom calls, and we will also reuse it with the camera. I usually say it out loud. Hey, I'm shy, I'm nervous, but here's my questions. I wrote them down so I don't forget anything. And I usually listen first, and then when it's my turn, I then have something to follow. But naming takes half of the pressure away, and the notes take the other half. So the goal was never to become a performer. The goal is to make filming feel like a conversation again. That conversation starts before you ever press record, because people take the wrong lesson here. They think if I sound stiff, I should probably throw away my notes and then just wing the whole video. No. Because if winging makes your mind go blank, then you basically just added more pressure to yourself. Don't walk into filming with nothing and then you just blame yourself when you can't organize every thought in your head while a camera is recording you. At minimum, just prepare some bullet points. Better if you have exact opening line and examples you don't want to forget. But maximum, write the whole script. Why not? Use the amount of preparation that lowers the pressure for you. So a script is a safety net, and it only becomes a cage when you treat every sentence like a line you have to perform. Something like basically word for word. What actually makes people sound scripted is usually one of the three things. They write sentences they never say out loud, something like long, formal, like blog post type of sentences, and then they try to memorize the whole paragraphs, or then they just restart a 5-minute section because one word came out differently than they wrote it. And that's performance pressure again. It's just basically hiding inside the paper. So here how I do it. I write the way I talk. So if I wouldn't say it to a friend, then it just does not go into a script. Then I mark maybe a few anchor lines I want to say exactly, and everything else then just kind of stay loose. I record 1 or 2 sentences at a time, pause, look at my notes, and then continue. I don't have to survive the whole script in one take, because nobody sees those pauses anyway, especially after you're editing them. And if you ever search how to read a script without sounding scripted, the answer is not only a reading technique. It starts with writing words you would actually say and giving yourself a permission to record them in just chunks and some smaller pieces. So preparation gives your brain somewhere to go next. But even with the best notes, your first take of the day will probably still sound tense, and mine often does. So here's the most practical thing in this whole video. If you're shy, and if talking about yourself is hard, don't start by talking about yourself. Start by talking about the product. Put something in your hand. Like if your channel is about the cooking, get that spatula in your hand and then just start talking about that spatula for a little bit. It will help you to relax. If you're doing dog channel, grab that leash. And fashion, get that shoe and start describing it. The object does not matter here. What matters is where your attention goes. So you're not asking, how do I look? How do I sound? What will people think of me anymore? You have something real to explain. What is this? Why do you use it? What would you change? You already know the answers. So your brain moves out of the performance mode into explanation mode. So you're not performing anymore. You're just describing what's in your hand at the moment. And I only recently realized how much this helped me, even at the beginning, when I did not sound natural on camera at all. Holding a product helped me to stop concentrating on myself, and then I just start concentrating on something physical instead. And after a while, you notice the product is no longer the point. You're just following your own thoughts, and your hands start basically moving normally. And then you're speaking instead of like watching yourself to speak. So from there, keep the camera rolling. Rumble about your morning, maybe about the video you're about to make. Basically like anything. I may do this for like 10-15 minutes, and somewhere in there you forget that this camera is basically on. And none of this footage has to be usable. Nobody ever has to see it. We edit it later on. So the first 10 minutes, they don't have to become your content. They just help you to become basically yourself again. And this costs nothing, just you, the camera, and permission to waste a little bit of footage. So once you stop monitoring yourself, the next question is usually very simple. Who are you actually talking to? Because here's a real problem with the camera. It gives you nothing back. It does not nod, it does not smile, it does not look confused when you need to explain something again. So that silence is exactly what pushes people back into performance mode. So give yourself a person. Some creators, they actually put a photo of someone they love right behind the camera. And some of the creators, they actually picture one specific viewer, maybe one real person who actually asked a question for this video answers. Or the version of you who needs this 2 years ago. So the photo is not really like the important part. Knowing who you're helping is. Because what works for me is my one-on-one rule. I'm not talking to an audience right now because then I'll just freeze. Audience, they get performance. I'm talking to one person and one person gets a conversation. And you can build your filming environment around the same idea because there's no rule what works for everyone. And if being watched make it worse, then film when nobody's home, close the door and protect that hour, and have privacy to make mistakes without feeling watched. And if you're on opposite and the empty room actually make it worse, then maybe ask your spouse, maybe your friend, or even your kid just to sit behind the camera and just listen. They don't need to say anything. It's just one familiar face makes the lens feel less empty. And also don't copy someone else's filming setup and expect it to calm you down. Just notice what lowers the pressure for you and then just build around that. You're not talking to the internet. You're just helping one person understand one thing. And for some of us, talking to that one person has one extra layer, the language we're using. And almost nobody talks about this because I speak 3 languages: English, Russian, and Ukrainian. And here's what actually happens in my head when I film. My mind does not go blank. It just hands me the wrong word in a different language. I'll be like, for example, speaking English, and the only word I can find is Ukrainian. And for a long time, that little moment just created panic inside me. And the panic, not the missing word, it's actually what ruins the take. So you think, I ruined the sentence, I have to start the whole paragraph again. And you don't. Save the word in the language it arrived in. Put the translation on a screen later. Maybe laugh about it and just, keep going. And if the word won't come back at all, then just maybe describe the meaning until it does. And that's still communication. The viewer does not need a language exam from you. They just need to understand your whole point. And your brain understood the topic the entire time. It's just basically filed that one word on a different shelf in your brain. And one more reason notes help, because the script holds a thought, but you're not hunting for words and organizing the idea at the same time. And about the accent, I know those doubts. Did I pronounce this word right? Did I say that right? But you know what? Nobody has your exact combination of languages, the culture, the way you learn to speak. Because my 3 languages are the whole reason why my auto-dubbing video exists. I could hear what Russian and Ukrainian versions got wrong. And then I could test something most creators simply couldn't. The thing I used to treat like a flaw just basically actually becomes a proof. So, and even my dog runs in 3 languages. I don't say word cookie, I say word pechenki. And now my American friend says pechenki too, because she learned it from me. So, everybody could be the same cake, but only you have your specific cherry on top. So no matter which language you film in, your most important lines usually sound better after you already been talking for a while, which basically brings me to the part I promised you at the beginning. So that one specific change that made the biggest visible difference in how I sound. So I record my hook twice. And just think about it for a second. The first 30 seconds of your video are the most important 30 seconds. And most of us basically film them first when we coldest and then we most nervous. So here's my filming order now. I warm up, I record my hook once just to kind of have it, and then I film the entire body of the video. And at the very end of the session, I just basically go back and re-record my hook again. And the difference is not small, because by the end of the session, I already said every important thought once, and I know what the video actually is. So my breathing is more calmer, my pace picks up, and my hands are basically start talking with me. And the second hook is faster, it's way more warmer, and it sounds like me. And you don't have to take my word for it, just watch it. Because this is my first hook take from this exact session. And this is a take I recorded after filming everything you just watched. So you can see there's the same person, the same day, and the same script. And gives beginner creators the same advice. Just be confident on camera, just be yourself, so you try. And gives beginner creators the same advice. Just be confident on camera, just be yourself, so you try. And now look at the shoulders, listen to the pace, notice whether I'm speaking to the lens or trying to survive the sentence. And that's not years of practice, that's basically 45 minutes and a whole process. Try it on your next video. Keep the first take, film the body, record the hook again, and compare the two without basically attacking yourself. You don't wait to feel natural, you film your way there. So one filming session can change your delivery. A few months of that process changes even more. And here what it actually looks like. So this is one of my very first videos ever. Hello, today I'm reviewing 2 packed stackable wire storage baskets with wooden lids. So I use mine for organizing fruits and vegetables. Look at this. I could barely look at the lens. My shoulders are somewhere around my ears. I'm trying to remember my words, manage the camera, and basically look normal at the same time. And I am not showing you this to embarrass that version of me. There's no shame in it. That was the reality of learning something basically completely new, and that's the whole process. The creators you admire right now, they have years of repetition behind them, hundreds of videos. You basically see their current video, not the deleted takes or early uploads they don't talk about anymore. And if you basically compare your first few videos with somebody's, I don't know, maybe 10 years of experience, that comparison will lie to you every single time. So compare yourself with your own footage from the last month instead. Do you recover faster when you lose a word? Because that's the real progress, and that tells you the truth. Because confidence does not show up first. It usually shows up after you start. It comes with practice, it also comes with time, and now you have an actual process for the practice part. So if you have something you want to teach, or something to explain or share, don't let the way you sound on camera right now be the reason to stop. And if this made filming feel a little less like a performance, a like will help this video more than you think. Thank you. And once you're more comfortable talking to the camera, the next challenge is basically knowing what to say in those first few seconds. So this video will walk you through the simple hook formula I used before filming. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.